So let's jump into it. We're going to put you guys right back here, just as a reminder for who this is intended for. And the first thing that we're going to do is jump into the energy deck and then the Akasha. And I'm going to keep these short. Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, Cancers. Like, will you just deal with the broken heart? Ooh, it's keeping you up at night. Oh my goodness. Really, the world is over. And it's all over this attachment. But there are other possibilities to your goddess energy and balancing. Oh my god. So your strategy is off. So I know that was a whole lot of not really talking to the camera, because that's how I read. It's like a beautiful movie. Definitely divine feminine energy. So I definitely feel like it's tough, the situation that you're in. And remember, this message for La Cancerian is for the retrograde. Okay? And that is, I think, from now, January 13th, until like right before Valentine's Day, which is so relevant that they would make you like revisit how you feels. Literally, you have to revisit how you feels, because there's too much going on here, Cancerian. So I want to talk more about the energy of the person that this message is intended for, and then move into your divine guidance, like how to move out of this. It's like you're not heartbroken no more, but you still hover in your heart, even though the worst is behind you, even though you done already walked away. You still have an attachment, and that's frustrating. And the attachment is like the anxiety, not even like, it's weird, because usually people they just can't get over the broken heart, but you're over the broken heart. I just don't, this attachment is very interesting. So let's get some more information. Akasha, and this is for Cancers. I see. Oh, yep. Uh-huh. Interesting. Okay. It's like living in two different worlds, literally, with the world being upside down here. So the movie, which is all right here, like it's one big movie. I'm gonna find a neat way to put it up here, show you. Okay. Alright. So there's a big healing that's taking place here for you, Cancers. In this situation, your masculine energy actually does have a good direct sense of like how to heal itself, how to be the Queen of Roses. You're still loving. You're not necessarily hardened by the broken hearts. Or at least you're making your way to being more of a loving, softer woman, which is beautiful, because that is what most feminines are diving into right now, is being more feminine, because we are typically, it's like natural, not that feminine, because we are like, I'm a Scorpio, but DFs come in all signs. Divine Physician is here, helping you create the proper course that you're more confident in. To look, literally creating the course, setting the course. So this retrograde is helping you like really dig deep into like I said, this isn't just any healing, it's like feminine energy healing. And right below that, all of your energy spread out of your is talking about being over a broken heart, but it purposely fell out to the side. It's like it's not almost taken care of. It's still doing a little bit of this, like you're still thinking about it. And that's when the energy is still in the ethers, is because you're still thinking about it. So if it's still in a thinking phase, then there is still an attachment. Like, you've got to decide whether or not you're going to hold on to that or not, because she came out diagonal with this one. Like, I'm almost done mending this broken heart. Because the worst is behind you. You feel like that. And that's why getting into this Queen of Roses energy is not difficult. It just needs to be done. Maybe you're just distracted doing other things. Look at all these other possibilities. Like all these other things maybe you think you have to do. Interesting. Because look how this ends. You have the world upside down, and then literally in the Akashic spread, the world upside down again. This isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just not like what you want. You're still living in like two worlds. So in essence, it's like instead of dealing with wrapping up this heartbreak, this retrograde, which totally involves a conversation. Oh my God. Do you see all this blue? Like, when we move into 3D recommendations, that's going to be on there for you guys, because there's all different ways like that you're like not. I said, I'm going to meet another person. I'm going to meet another person. I'm going to meet another person. And they all kind of just fall through because you're not, you have to wrap up this heartbreak. You have to wrap up the lesson. It's like this is another soul who also has a contract with you with this situation. You can't just be like, I'm gonna move on. Right. How? Not when you're still thinking about it. You literally have to. So, this was a whole big story. Because I usually don't take words, these oracle cards in reverse, but they're like, you're not, this is what they want me to attend to. Like, you're not rewarding yourself enough. I think the things that you're doing is what you've been doing, when you should be rewarding yourself in like a different way. This retrograde. So why am I saying this? Because you got to pull yourself out of this broken heart energy. Like, I really feel like there's a conversation that should be had to rectify this. But if you're on the other side of this camera, like, bitch, I have already had this conversation, but I still keep thinking about it, I don't know why, then it's just a matter of shifting out of the vibration, and that's an active thing, right? That's an active, like, that's probably why the Sphinx was all buried. Y'all, like, just forgot. That's why Uriel's on it, like, remember who you are. Like, gratitude list, I feel like you're abundant and you're not recognizing it. So revisit gratitude during the retrograde to kind of pull yourself, pull yourself, steady progress, perfect timing. Pull yourself into this higher vibration, because it's a heavy situation that you're dealing with if it's not resolved. Luckily, if it is the season of the retrograde, like hardcore Mercury, then your ex might come back and they might want to talk. As law of attraction is there, but if they don't, like, you gotta let that joint go to the wind. Exactly, like, just let it go. It's an innocent situation. Oh, I've got plenty of time. So, because my last video, I like, oh my God, I got some major message downloaded. I actually have time to not just, I can look into the romance altogether. Let's dig in, Cancer. So whoever this message is for, that breakup was supposed to happen. It says unrequited love, getting to know each other, and healing family issues. So maybe it's like breaking the ancestral chain. You know, so if you are presented with the opportunity to have a conversation where you are like getting to know each other, not like on the same level that y'all was before, but like on like this, like, I even do that. Like, I thought we was better than that. Like, beyond the romance, technically more to like, I thought we was better than that. This getting to know each other thing, like, it's okay that it's unrequited. Like, it's okay if we can't be together, won't be together. Like, it's not enough chemistry, but you still mad cool. You know, like that's why the anxiety is there, because maybe this person really matters. Like they're a real good friend before they were a lover kind of a situation, but it is, in essence, it's healing. It's healing family issues. But this card does mention something about your parents. So that would also give way to the ancestral chain being broken. So you've got to or I encourage you to see the connection. So maybe you're just looking at, maybe the connection might be dead and maybe your heart isn't broken anymore, but because you need to connect the two worlds, the past life, this life, you've got to connect the ancestral part, like just being aware of being like that's what you're doing, being aware of it helps break that chain because you won't repeat that cycle again. You'll set your course confidently for what you want and who you want and the vibration that you want to do that. So this experience with this, just like this looming lingering shit, this looming lingering, does this matter? It might just be a matter of getting to know ultimately what this person's motives were, romantically, and then accepting that that's not really what you want, even though it's not necessarily anything wrong with it. Maybe you vibrated up, elevated out, ascended up, and that you're actually healing your own ancestral situations by choosing a better love. Oh shit. So, ways to apply this, and oh yeah, you're attracting mm-hmm, a soulmate. But there is, it says separation on the horizon, but it's your soulmate. I'm so still recording still, but look, stay optimistic. New love. I'm like, ooh, but I want to see what's after the retrograde. It says stay optimistic because whatever this is, you guys, like I said, y'all are friends, but y'all have differences. Look at this religious factors coming up. Right. Oh, right. So maybe just getting to know each other, talking, you just find out their differences are just their differences. It's just not what you vibe with anymore. And maybe the love went back a ways and maybe you just don't vibe with it no more. And you gotta be big girl enough, feminine energy, to say that, because the soul on the other side with the contract is supposed to hear that so that this whole thing could dissolve and you guys can move on to your new love. These are the toughest parts about this lifetime, are these emotional conversations, especially with this full moon in Cancer. Hello, y'all. 646. So, during the retrograde, be observant about any opportunities to use your throat chakra with somebody who matters, even if you feel like they should reach out to you first. If you feel like it's up in your intuitive mind, I don't know, just say hi. I'd be testing the waters, fuck this shit, 707. I'm gonna do it just because I know some shit gonna happen. This is your universe. So it depends on how much you want to poke the bear as far as dealing with. It's how much do you want to turn this all the way the right way? Because it's still an attachment even though you walked away. That means that there's still energy there. And that's what creates this, is because you can't identify what that energy is, if it's attraction or it's not. So instead of running everywhere else, waiting for something else to pan through when it's not yet, you can't fragment that energy. Deal with this one during the retrograde and see what presents itself after that. I would do blues. I would hold on. I would do blues. These are all my organs. I would get ones that I would wear crystals like your lapis. I would wear things to open your throat chakra, but by way of your solar plexus, all handmade by me, by Oregon. But actually, let the crystals help you. Put on some new crystals, even some clear quartz, some rainbow fluorite, and that's because you're wanting to connect, knowing the right thing to do with knowing the right thing to say without feeling like you're gonna hurt somebody, because y'all are just so loyal Cancerians. But sometimes you've got to initiate those conversations because that is what helps you set the course. You might not be able to set your course with what you want because you still have like this healing that needs to take place as the Queen of Roses. So let me know what goes on. This was a very specific message. Don't forget, subscribe if you vibe. Share if you know a Cancerian who would love to hear this kind of message. I also encourage you to wear your blues. Like basically, I know you're like, oh my God, my third chakra, but if you're experiencing some irritation there, especially around now, like it has a lot to do with what you're saying or not saying, especially for you, because you guys are emotional. So being emotional is being vulnerable, and being vulnerable is sometimes not acceptable for a divine feminine. Especially if you've already dismissed the person as have broken your heart, you're like, fuck the conversation. But it's an energy that needs to be exchanged by having it, that getting to know each other, to be able to identify that maybe it is unrequited, and then by doing just that, you break the ancestral chain for you and those before you. So, see you next time in your next reading. I would say after the retrograde, but I don't know, it might be during it. Who knows? Bye, Cancers.